Hello. Hi, Tanya.
Hi, Namrata.
Tanya, I'm so excited to have you today on my show, have a Radiant Realization with Namrata. And I am in awe of the topic that we are going to discuss today. And the damage is done. Sometimes we do not realize how our environment, our loved ones, or even our circle has impact on us, whether it's positive or negative. And we tend to flow with the demands of life. Today, you're going to guide us, enlighten us on what are our blind spots and how we can make our life much easier and smoother. To start with, Tanya, would like to know what got you excited to pick this as your niche and help world with your talent.
Right. Thank you, Namrata, for inviting me to this show. I really like the name Radiant Realization with Namrata. And as I'm meeting you for the first time today, I am really seeing that connection of the name with your personality and the way we just interacted before we started our talk show today. So, what got me into coaching is that Namrata, I've always been that person in my life all throughout my childhood who liked real connections, even at school. And when I saw that people were not into it, or they were there with the superficial connections, or they would not really become vulnerable or share about themselves to ask for help, I would feel that there's some sort of disconnect. And when I would see that in elders also, in my teachers or anything, I just felt that why can't everybody be more human in this aspect? Then I took it as a fact that, okay, we have to be a certain way when we are out in the public. So maybe discussing a lot is not really something that everybody would cherish because they don't want to get help or they don't want to discuss so many things with other people. And as I grew elder and I started working, I saw the same pattern happening around me. And whenever I would connect with somebody at a heart to heart level, like it was more of an emotional connect, I would feel really happy. So I had always cherished more, deeper relationships rather than the surface level connections. And that got me into thinking that how can I actually get an opportunity to do something which brings this essence into my work. And along with this, the second thing was that I had always loved interaction with people. So when I started my journey as a software engineer, I felt that missing. Like the job that I was into, it was more of a technical work, sitting in front of the laptop and coding. But I really wanted that my strength gets elevated when I meet people and when I talk to them. So I wanted more of it. So I thought, okay, I may not get that kind of progression in the career that I was in. I must have to look for something else where I can really get to interact with people on a regular basis because that's how I derive my energy. So during the COVID time, Namrita, I started with my training career, which was communication, public speaking, and soft skills training. And then what happened is during that time, as I had started all of this, after a year or so, life coaching also happened. Like I got into the fascination for personal development. And when I applied all those learnings on myself, I saw that my life was actually changing in front of me. And I was totally in awe that why didn't I have the clarity about these concepts before? Why are these concepts not taught in school? Why are they not discussed in college? Why is it just not casually discussed? Like, in order to make it such a separate field right now, why is it not a part of everyone's lifestyle? How to train your subconscious mind, how to know about your thought process, how to figure out the beliefs which are serving you, which are not serving you. And I was totally mesmerized by the kind of transformation I saw for myself. And that got me into thinking that this work comes very naturally to me. Like I don't have to make effort to help someone in this, right? And the kind of transformation I got, that got me more conviction to help other people. Because if I got the results, I understood that, okay, by this I didn't get the result, but by this I got the result. So I was like, apart from training, let me also venture into coaching because coaching is something, it just comes so naturally to me. And I fell in love with this work. So that's how it totally happened. And one very last thing I would like to mention is that when I started my life coaching journey, uh, the very initial clients that I worked with, they were soft skills coaches. And when they approached me, they wanted help in like regarding their internal transformation, not the external transformation. So it was more sort of, helping them overcome their fear or the kind of inhibitions that they were having in their mind. So that also got me thinking that they being soft skills coaches, and I was also one of them. So when they had those kind of inhibitions and they needed external help, then that means soft skills, possessing your technical skills and soft skills is not the only solution for sustainable growth in life. You will need something that can help you go deeper into your psyche and help you really understand who you are and why do you do what you do. And that gave me the confidence that apart from just helping people with improving their soft skills through the outer transformation, it's very essential that we look internally and groom that as well. So that's how it all started.
I'm really awe of the journey that you've taken. And so, Danya, the first question that, in accordance with today's theme and the damages done. So, what are the behaviors or actions that you think people can avoid during the interaction with other people to ensure that they are in healthy relationship with other people?
Hmm. Okay, okay. So you mean to say that if people want to have healthy relationships with other people, then what are the behaviors that they can avoid in their interaction?
Correct.
Okay, okay. Okay. So there are two, 3 points that I would like to tell here. Let me see how it comes with the flow. So the first very important point, Amrita, which I believe in is too much of criticism is definitely not healthy. Now, let's suppose two people are living in the same house and both of them have different food habits. Okay. One of them is very extrovert, very outgoing, and has healthy food habits. Okay. And the other one has gone through certain sort of trauma in their life. And it's been many years, they have overcome it and they are just going on with their normal day to day life. But the after effects of that trauma is still there. That means that the person has become very quiet now. The person does not like socializing with people. The person has stopped trusting the world, so they don't really like going out. They feel that okay, I'll just sit at home and I will introspect and I will just lead a very normal life. And they have stopped eating also. They have stopped eating healthy food also. They feel that okay, if it comes, it comes. Otherwise I don't really have to make effort to eat something healthy. So now what happens? This person, the other person that I'm talking about, they both are living in the same home. So this other person comes and criticizes the first person that you're not taking care of your lifestyle. I don't know what has happened to you. You don't go out and you don't socialize with people. What's wrong with you? Don't you want to move ahead in life? And every day, if they keep on saying the same thing to the first person and in a negative tone of voice, you can really understand what kind of damage it can do to the first person. Because there's always a reason why the first person is behaving a certain way. It's not out of choice that they are doing. Okay. And now the first person who is very outgoing will say, see, I'm so outgoing, I'm so extrovert, I go out. So I'm also enjoying life. Why can't you enjoy life? Why are you taking that burden of the past and sitting like this, making faces, so sad and everything? Now the first person will start to question themselves that there's something wrong with me. And they would not like that the other person is criticizing them on a daily basis, always passing comments and giving them lectures on the kind of lifestyle they should have, the kind of food they should eat. I mean, if the first person had the capacity, he or she would have already done it. But if he or she is not doing it, there's a reason behind it. And the reason is the cry for help. The person needs help. It's just an emotional connect that the other person needs. But because they both are family members and the other person feels that that's my duty to correct the first person, right? But if they are doing it out of criticism and using unhealthy tone of voice, then of course, instead of doing benefit to the first person, it's actually doing a damage to them. So it's very essential to understand whether you're talking with your closed ones, your friends, or somebody you meet, in office. A lot of criticism to that person will not do any good. right? You can feel that I share a very close relationship with that person, so I'm saying it out of concern, care, but your words can actually create that damage for the other person where all they wanted was, I'm here for you. I'm just listening to you. You're feeling that way. It is okay. You want help. Okay, tell me, what can I do? Okay, tell me, you don't want to go out. You don't want to eat right now. Okay, what it is that you would like to do? Okay, it is taking you time to get out of it. No worries. For some people, get out of it in 1 month. You can take 1 year also. But whatever you feel, just let me know. I will be there to listen to you. And so this kind of camaraderie is needed in the relationships, and I feel that unnecessary criticism should not be existing, right? Then the second point, Namrata, that I would like to mention is when you know that, like, suppose two people are interacting, okay, and when the first person has the habit of complaining and shouting and getting angry very easily, like on even small things, the first person gets angry very, very easily. Okay, now suppose the first person calls the second person, and anytime they want to discuss, they are in the angry tone of voice, right? They are criticizing the world, they are criticizing the people in their life, and they are like, nobody's doing like this, nobody's doing like that, everything is happening like this, I don't know, nobody's even taking care of me. So when they are calling the next person, they are always showing complaint towards the world, they are showing complaint towards this person, and they are always in the aggression mode. Like anything that happens not according to them, they just blast out. Okay, it could be as simple as not getting uh, the kind of chapati that they would want to eat. Okay. So it could be very simple like this, but they would just blast out like that. So because it's in their habit, it's a pattern for them. So now what we have to understand is the second person who is used to this kind of pattern and know that, okay, the other person is always angry. No matter what you do, the other person will find some fault, because that is how they derive pleasure in life, by finding faults, by putting the other person down, right? So in that case, let's suppose the second person is not speaking up and is like, okay, this person is a little toxic, so let me just take it this way. Okay, let me just not fight with them, because it's going to make the matter worse. But second person also has some limit, the tolerance limit, and one day it can break, right? So now if the second person, now let's suppose after 2 years, okay, after being continuously in touch for 2 years, the second person again calls, the first person again calls the second person on phone. Okay. And again, they are in angry mood and they are complaining about something happening, and they're asking questions to the second person, but they are in the complaining mode. And the second person can get angry now, because they have been tolerating that behavior for a really long time. And today they raise their voice because they feel that today, if I don't raise my voice, this is gonna continue. Like, this is just gonna continue. It's going to spoil my peace of mind. So now today the second person also raises their voice. And now, because the second person has raised the voice, the first person notices it, and they start telling them, why are you getting angry? What's the need to get angry? So they never check their own behavior, but out of 100 times, if one time the second person is speaking up for himself, then they are saying, what's the need of getting angry? You don't want a solution. You only want to get angry. Angry होने से कोई solution निकलेगा क्या? So the point here is, when somebody you know in your life is getting angry again and again, you have to understand that their behavior can be aggressive, but there is always a reason why they're doing it. So behind anger, there is fear. The fear that something is not right in my life, the fear that something needs to change, the fear that uh, the thing which is not happening in my life is making me feel miserable. Now, because I don't want to get the sympathy of people and I don't want to show that I'm a bechara person, I will get into aggression, because that's my way of showing that I am still in power. But actually, I'm feeling very weak and hollow from inside. And just because I cannot show that fear, I'm masking it with anger. So it's very important that if one person is habituated of showing anger, the other person, instead of feeling frustrated, instead of getting angry and giving the answer of anger with anger, should take a pause and just say to the other person that right now I'm not able to handle the aggression that you are showing. It's not healthy. We will not come to any solution. If you can keep quiet and we can discuss peacefully, then I'll go ahead. If you cannot, it's okay. Let's take a break for 10 minutes. When you get calmed down, then you can call me. Then we will discuss. Apart from it, the second person also can do something wonderful is going up to the first person and asking them, what is it that you're fearing? Tell me, what is the need? Like, what is your need? What do you want? Can I help you with it? Is there something which is missing and you would want that? Because I see that you're getting angry. It's basically a call for help. So, can I help you with something? Is there something which is not right and you would want help in that? Okay. So, in this case, anger can be, brought down. So the answer for anger is really not anger, because then it gets just elevated. But the answer for anger is really understanding and giving that space to the other person to express themselves and to ask about their concerns, their fear. But even after asking about their concerns, their fear, the other person does not, understand, then it can definitely be a toxic behavior. And you must understand that the other person does not want to change. So in that case, drawing boundaries is very essential. Rather than getting yourself angry and spoiling your peace of mind, just draw boundaries and let the other person be. And you showcase that you're not getting impacted by their behavior, because such people who are habituated of anger, they want the other person to get triggered by it, and they like to get into arguments. So if you give them the reason that today again also you're shouting, again you're fighting, why do you do it, I don't like it, again you're doing this, so they find pleasure in it. The first person who is getting angry, they find pleasure in it. So you have to understand that you don't have to give them the pleasure of addressing, of showcasing your triggers to them. So just take a step back, don't ever react to what they say, and draw boundaries. So this was the second point regarding anger, right? And yeah, the next point that I have is in terms of the behavior, what we should not do when we are interacting with other people. It's similar to the first point, Namrata. Let's suppose somebody has gone through some kind of very challenging situation in their life. There are actually four ways of responding to that challenging situation. One is the fight, like the person fights it and they become aggressive and they are like, okay, this thing came now. Whatever situation comes in my life, I'm going to fight aggressively. I'm going to get aggressive with people. So that is the fight response. The other is flight response, where the person, just tries to flee away from that situation. They want to flee away from the difficult situation, any problem which comes in their life. They just want to run away from it. They want to postpone taking decisions for that problem. That's flight response. The third one is freeze response. So what is freeze is that the person just gets very blank and they don't know like what they should do. So either they will stop talking, they will stop reacting, they will numb themselves, and they will not think really. They will not find the capacity to even think anything, right? And they might show some unusual symptoms in their behavior, like not really smiling, and not really having their food on time, not really speaking, not moving, not doing a lot of physical activity. So that could be a freeze response. And the fourth response is the fawn response, FAWN. So fawn is the person may get into people pleasing. So if the person had been through some sort of trauma, they may go into people pleasing. Like they will feel that, okay, last year when this happened, I faced this difficult person in my life. That means I will have to please this person to get their approval. So now, in the forthcoming challenges that will come in their life, if there is a difficult person coming, they will always want to please that person unnecessarily, right? And that can drain a lot of energy out of them, right? So I want to basically specify on the two responses here. One is the flight response, where we run away from the situation, and other is the freeze response, right? Now, um, if the person is going to a flight response or freeze response and is not taking responsibility in their life to make it better, to start feeling better, to feel happy, and the other person, if they keep on telling them कि लाइफ तो ऐसे ही होती है, challenges तो आते हैं, तुम इतना दिल पे लगा लेते हो, एंड क्या उन पुरानी बातों को बार बार रिपीट करते रहते हो, आगे बढ़ो, बोल्ड बनो, डिसीजंस लेना सीखो. So now what is happening, this other person is saying this with a lot of authority, राइट? ऐसा ही होना चाहिए, आपको बोल्ड बनना चाहिए, आपको डिसीजंस लेने चाहिए, और आपको ऐसे हाथ पे हाथ रख के नहीं बैठना चाहिए, ऐसे तो लाइफ चलेगी नहीं. सो अभी क्या हो रहा है ना नम्रता यहाँ पे, कि दिस फर्स्ट पर्सन, they are basically not doing it out of a choice. That's how their nervous system is responding to the trauma. But the first person is saying कि ऐसी छोटी छोटी बातों को दिल पे लगा लेते हो, और छोटी सी चीज है उसको इतना बड़ा बड़ा इश्यू बना लिया है. So because they are not validating the other person's feeling, the damage that they are doing, the damage that the first person has gone through, it can multiply because their feelings are being invalidated. So किसी के feelings को invalidate नहीं करना है relationships में, और ये भी समझना है कि not everybody can be same, not everybody's nervous system is same, and not everybody's coping mechanism is same. Okay, this person who is giving lecture to the first person can have a very sound nervous system in the sense that not not many things trigger them, not many things spoil their mood, not many things take away their happiness, and they are like able to move on quickly because that's how their nervous system is physiologically and physically designed. So it's very easy for them to come out of any situation, that a difficult situation that they face in life. And if they invalidate the other person's nervous system responses, they invalidate the trauma that the first person goes through, then of course they are not being empathetic. It is very important that you show empathy and you don't expect other people to be a replica of you. Like if I am smart, I handle my life really well, you can't really expect everybody else to also do the same. So give them the space, give them the time to heal, and don't put boundaries on them कि अभी तो इतना टाइम हो गया, you should now feel better, you should start smiling, you should start moving ahead in life. Of course you might be doing it out of concern, but there's a different way of doing it. Obviously you should push them to move ahead in life. You should push them to tell them that okay, this is how you should do, this is how your happiness is in your hands, you have to now come out. How much time will you spend brooding over this because it's not serving you? But not in the form of lecture, not in the form of criticizing. It has to come from a genuine space of concern and care, and if it is combined with empathy, that's even better. So I feel that most of the relationships these days are lacking empathy. And we are teaching a lot of empathy to students in school also. Students are understanding, but it's very difficult for elders now to understand those who are not into the personal development. And when you tell them that okay, you have to be empathetic, they feel that I'm very empathetic, I care so much for the other person, that's why I'm telling them to come out. But that's not really how it is. We are humans and we need that space. We just need a listening ear who can help us feel safe. So the need of the basic human need is to feel safe. And if when you are interacting with people you can make someone else feel safe, I think it's the best thing that you can do when you're interacting with people. So that's about the points that I wanted to share. You have anything to say on this, Namrata?
Tanya, I would say the behaviors that you mentioned are amazing. And it's like for us to be consciously aware whether we are demonstrating this behavior in our relationship with close people. But Tanya, what I would like to know from you is what are the early signs that we can pick up to ensure that the relationship conflict does not escalate? We are able to manage a relationship and build a positive environment when we are interacting with our loved ones.
Hmm. Okay. Early signs of, relationship getting damaged, or like, would you like to put it again, just for my better understanding?
Early signs of relationship getting damaged is what I would like
Okay.
to know from you.
Early signs of relationship getting damaged. Okay. Namrata, I feel the first and foremost, and the point which is a very foundational point, is lack of communication. If you feel that in a communication, uh, in a relationship, there is lack of communication. Now, communication has nothing to do with the kind of fancy words we use, or the vocabulary we use. Now, that might be needed in a corporate or a professional setup, but when it comes to, like, professional relationships or personal relationships, where we are not discussing work, but basically where we are discussing our life, right? In that case, it is very essential that there is open communication. If ever you find that somebody is not sharing everything about their life with you, of course, not in every relationship people can share everything. But let's suppose we're talking about family members, we're talking about two brothers, we're talking about two sisters together, we're talking about best friends together. If they were very close before, but now they start seeing that, okay, this person is more into himself and they don't really share either their happiness or their source of sorrow, then you can know that the relationship is not getting damaged, but there is a drift which is coming, right? And yes, of course, if you feel that, oh, this thing could have been saved if you had shared this with me before, so the other person will say, I don't know. And, they try to put a, like a cover over it. I don't know. I just did whatever I could do. Okay. And they try to shove it away. So the other person can feel that, okay, इस बार इन्होंने नहीं बताया. Maybe the next time they will share more things with me. Now, next time again, something happens. And the other person says, why didn't you tell me before? I could have, helped you. We could have handled the situation better. And the other person, again, they might get little aggressive, or they might say that मुझसे जो हो पाया, I did it, and I didn't want to trouble. So basically, is when you feel that in a relationship you don't want to trouble the other person by sharing your problems, or you feel that ठीक है, happiness है, so it has to be with me. Sorrow is there, it has to be with me, and you stop giving that importance to other person, that they can either just help you, they can just listen to you. I think that can lead to relationships um, spoiling over a period of time. It's not a set fact, Namrata, that it has to get spoiled. Uh, it might not even get spoiled, but yes, uh, where you feel that if out of five, the communication could have been eight, or it could have been 10, and things would have been better, the result could have been better, then definitely it's a sign that more communication is needed in the relationship.
Okay. And Dana, if you can give us your views on what is the impact of past troubled relationship, or somebody who's come out of trauma, who's experiencing post-traumatic disorder, stress
Hmm.
symptoms.
Hmm.
What impact would this have on their current relationship?
Hmm. Okay. Yes. So, Namrata, definitely anybody who goes through trauma, if they don't heal from it, if they don't process it, if they don't know how to process it, it might get carried forward in the future relationships also. So, many people think trauma is something, tragedy has to happen in one's life. Trauma can happen through a death of a loved one. Trauma can happen when somebody gets cheated in a relationship. Trauma can happen through a sort of any physical or emotional abuse. But these are the extreme forms of trauma. Trauma is not only that something big or major has to happen in your life. Trauma is simply a state of overwhelm. Overwhelm means where your nervous system did not have the capacity to handle that situation and to know what's the best way of processing it. So, because you didn't know it, it just got settled inside your system, inside your body, and that feeling gets settled in your body. That feeling of unsafety, that feeling of overwhelm, and maybe not now, but 5 years later, 20 years later, you could get triggered by another situation, and you might feel, oh, that's very normal for me to get triggered. But basically, it's a trauma response because so many years back, you didn't know how to process that state of overwhelm. Your nervous system never got an indication how to process it. So you're still carrying it forward in the current relationship. So one example could be, um, let's suppose there is a person and they had emotionally unavailable parents in their childhood. So I'm not saying that the parents didn't love the child. Parents definitely love the child, but because they were too fixated on fighting amongst themselves, between themselves, and dealing with the domestic issues, whenever the child basically needed the parents to discuss something more important than studies or anything in life, parents were not available because they were busy sorting their own fights and quarrels, right? Or maybe they were too busy in their professional life. Their jobs were such that they were not available when the child really needed it. So the child took it as a thing that, okay, yeah, they are not available. So that means I'll have to learn to deal with it alone. So now what happens is maybe the child goes through some sort of pain and the child does not discuss it with the parents because they are not emotionally available right now. Or even if the child wants to discuss, they go to the parent, he or she goes to the parent, and parents say, इतनी छोटी सी तो बात है, क्या हो गया, चलो smile, go back and study, right? So now the child was not given space to even express himself or herself. So now what happens is when the child grows up and maybe they get into a relationship, they want to marry someone, and they like that person, but they are very commitment phobic. That means they have that phobia, or they have the fear of giving commitment to the other person. Now they are not able to figure out why they have that commitment phobia. But if they go back in their past, they will realize that just because the child was very close to the parents and always expected the parents to be there, to be emotionally available there. But because they were not there, the child felt very unsafe. And the child felt that whoever you consider important in your life, they are somehow not there for you when you need them. So now, when this child who is a grown up adult wants to commit to the other person to get married, something in them is triggering and they are not able to give a commitment because of fear. Why? Because this person, this adult, considers their partner as very important person in their life. And subconsciously, they are thinking that, okay, if I commit to this person and I consider them as very, very, very important, they might also become emotionally unavailable to me, right? So this is a very simple example, Namrata, where the person might not even be aware. Only a self-aware person can know that, okay, this is the issue and this is how it can be resolved. But a very simple thing in life, you know, um, parents dismissing the feelings of the child, and maybe parents were too busy with their work. They did not really give that kind of attention to the child, and see how it translates into, problems in the relationship in the adult life. So yeah, this is one of the examples that I can quote right now, that trauma, when it is not completely resolved and we are not healed from it, it can get it can impact the future relationships also.
And what signs should we look for to identify that the person needs to go a healing journey?
Okay. So a signs that we need to identify that the person needs to go on a healing journey is, first is a state of exhaustion. So if the person, when they're dealing with their personal life, professional life, and it's getting too overwhelmed for them, they're going into again and again exhaustion, mentally, physically, and emotionally, it's definitely a sign that they need healing right now. They must pause and they must focus on their well-being, on their healing. The second could be a person is facing a lot of anxiety. Now, it could not be an anxiety disorder, but it could be like anything they do in their life, they get anxious. Like they have to change cities, like they have to move from one city to another, they get anxious. They have to change their projects at work, they get anxious. They have to shift the school of their children from one school to another, they get anxious. Okay. They have to start a new business along with their job, they get anxious. So anything they do, they get anxious. They get anxious of the change in their life. So this could also be, this is a very clear sign that the person needs healing. The other, the third aspect would be fear. So again, the person is, uh, it's not a very evident fear that you can look at the person and you can say, are you going to fear? Or the person can themselves say, I'm going to fear. It's not a very evident fear, but something which is very subtle, which can only be understood when the person go deep inside them. Fear of any kind of change in their life. Okay, so maybe the person wants a new house help to come and support them in the household, but because for 10 years there was one person and now this person is not healthy, so they are taking off from the work and the person now needs a new house help, and they just don't know. They have interviewed 5 or 6 house helps and they don't seem to really trust someone, or maybe they were too habituated of the old person, that the old person was so much aware about their household needs, and now if I get this new person, maybe he or she does not understand. So that's bringing them fear that how will I manage things alone? I have my office, I have so many other things to do, and I need a house help. But I'm not able to trust the people who are available because I feel that they will not understand the dynamics of my house. And, so this, it's a very simple fear, but it's a very deep rooted fear. And this again will need some sort of healing. And again, one very important point, Amrita, I would like to mention. Generally, people have this notion that if somebody is struggling in their life, okay, whether it is through a state of exhaustion, through a lot of overthinking, when they're getting anxious or when they're having fear, then they need healing. But the point is, everybody needs healing. Everybody. Okay. So in our everyday lives, there is too much that we are doing. Like professionally, personally, we are meeting so many people. So our energy is getting drained. And just how as we brush our teeth every day, we take bath every day, similarly, we have to do our emotional and mental cleansing every day. Because when we come in contact with different people have different auras. So somebody, if we meet negative, it can impact our aura as well. And it can impact our energy level. So it's very important that instead our energy which gets depleted over the entire day, it has to be repleted again. It has to be built, filled from within again. And that is why everybody needs healing. Of course, the intensity of healing for everyone is very different, right? Somebody might need just a little bit, like 15 minutes in a day, they can do their spiritual activities, or they can take care of some of the mind activities, and they can feel rejuvenated the entire day. While somebody might have to, at a regular intervals, take break and take care of their well-being. It could be like 60 minutes in the morning, maybe 20 minutes again during the work, or sometime in the evening also. So it could be like 3 or 4 times in a day. So this is a very essential point to understand. And along with this, Namrata, people who get frustrated very easily, who get angry very easily, who criticize a lot, who complain a lot, they need healing. Okay. I'll give you one example to help our viewers also understand. Let's suppose this person is a very dominating person. They like to dominate people they come across. Okay. And they feel good. They feel that strength from within, that when I when I speak something in a loud voice, when I dominate people, I have that authority, I have that power. So they like it. Okay. So now what happens? This person goes to a petrol pump to get the refill done. And the service person at the petrol pump, maybe they did not have the credit card machine or the card machine to swipe. Okay. And now the person gets the petrol fill and they say that, okay, I want to pay by card. And the person says, no, I don't have it. Sorry, sir, it's not working. And the person can then just lash out on the service person at the petrol pump. Now you will think, what's the need to lash out? But there are people who do it, right? And why they do it? Uh, because they're habituated of it, right? And now they go to a restaurant and the waiter, they ordered like 4 dishes. The waiter brings the 3 dishes and he says that, sir, the 4th dish is getting prepared and I'll be bringing it just in a minute. And not in a minute, he brings it in 5 minutes. And the person can get triggered and annoyed and can start shouting at the other person. Now, because this waiter who is working at the restaurant, also because he feels that he can't answer back, because of course he's doing a job at the restaurant and he has to be respectful to the customers who are coming. So he feels bad about it, but he does not say anything and he just goes away, right? And now this person who is aggressive, he again goes somewhere, he parks his car somewhere, and he exceeds the time limit of parking his car, or something happens. Maybe he had to pay the money, like it was a free park. It was not a free parking zone, but he told that I will be coming in 5 minutes, and I'm just keeping my car here, and he comes after an hour. And now uh, this security guard, he comes that, sir, you told that you'll be coming after 5 minutes, but you came after an hour, so you will have to get your, you'll have to pay the money for this, so it cannot be counted as a free parking right now. And the person can then lash out at this security guard also, because they feel that they are in power. Okay. And because the person is dominating and getting angry, the security guard will say, oh my god, there was nothing like that, maybe I have done something wrong by asking them to pay money, right? And this poor security guard, they can go, they can say, okay sir, it's okay, you can go now, right? Because they are feeling bad about it, that somebody is unnecessarily pulling them down. So what's happening here, Namrata, is this person who is demonstrating this angry behavior, they need healing. But they might think that they don't need healing, but the actual thing is they need healing. Why they need healing? Because there is something inside them which is missing. They are feeling that hollowness inside them. They are feeling that space which could have been filled with love, care, and affection, but it is missing in their life. Because it is missing in them, they are trying to gain that power uh, by submissing the other people. So they have to go on a healing journey to really realize that everybody is equal. It's not the status which puts you in power, and you can't be abusing people emotionally like that. And I think this is one of the major things that people need to realize. It's anybody who is demonstrating that dominant behavior does not mean that they are in power. It means that they need healing. It means that they are trying to suppress something. They are trying to get that need by putting other people down. And that's very unhealthy in the long run.
So, what would be the role of self-awareness or mindfulness practice when an individual would start their healing journey?
Right. Namrata, definitely self-awareness and mindfulness is needed. Okay. As I said, this person that I give example of, if they are not, no, they are not self-aware. Okay. Their life is going really well, because as they dominate other people, fortunately, other people don't say much and they feel that, yeah, I am in power, I am in control. And they have good bank balance, they have good lifestyle, they are enjoying their life. But the point is that they are not self-aware, and because they are not self-aware, that they need to fix something inside them, because in that process they are doing damage to other people, right? They are hurting other people. And so yeah, I feel, not I feel that I believe, I 100% believe that unless you are self-aware, you cannot really accept that you need healing, right? And only if you become self-aware, you know that, okay, there is something inside me which gets triggered, which uh, because of other people's behavior, I need to correct it, because I can't be becoming the puppet in other people's hand. In that case, once you realize this, you have that self-awareness, you know what your strengths are, you know that, okay, these are my weaknesses. In these situations in life, I get triggered and I'm not able to perform to my best potential. So these are my weaknesses. Let me work on this. Let me heal myself. So only when you are self-aware, then only you can begin that journey. If you are not, then you will feel, then you will always give blame to other people, that whatever is happening in your life is because of the other people.
In this journey of healing, Tanya, how can an individual balance that time that they would want to devote for the healing, along with day-to-day responsibility at home, work commitment, also self-care? How do individual find time to put all these practices in their day-to-day life?
Very nice question, Amrita. I'm sure a lot of viewers would relate to this. So it can be challenging to find time. So I would give the advice that you cannot really find time for everything. You have to create time. So everybody is busy right now in their life. So much of work that they have in personal life, in professional life. They have to take care of their kids. They have to take care of their finances. They have to take care of their travel plans and so many other things. But if a person is self-aware and they know that, okay, they have to go on that healing journey, they have to maybe start with their spiritual practices. They have to build a very strong connection with themselves. They have to build a very strong connection with the Almighty. They have realized it. Then for few days, for few months, they can say, I'm not finding time. बहुत काम है ऑफिस में और अभी मीटिंग एक्सटेंड हो गई है, टाइम नहीं मिल रहा है. ओके, अब नाउ ऑफिस का काम खत्म हो गया, अभी बच्चों को देखना है. So I have to look after the kids, I have to prepare their food, I have to take care of their homework. So it's very understood that these are also priorities in life, but because taking care of your well-being and emotional healing is also a priority. So see how you can make it a priority. You don't put it at the second number, but you put it equal to the other things that you're doing. And you will never find time. You can always create time for it. How? Maybe something extra in your life which can be delegated to someone. You could speak to someone at home, maybe your mother, your mother-in-law, anyone. Or you can hire an external help and see if you can trust them. You can explain them what your expectations are so that they do your task with 100% clarity. If not 100%, at least 90%, they are able to contribute to your expectation. So take help, delegate to them. And that time which you find, you can devote to yourself. You can sit with yourself and you can see what you can do to come out of the challenges that you're facing in life. Okay. And one very important thing is, especially when people are on the healing journey and then they say that, okay, I want to use law of attraction to attract better things in my life, better relationships, more finance, more career progress, and all of that. And in the morning, they would, take out some time and do all the rituals of law of attraction, of training their subconscious mind to attract abundance in their life. But the problem is they do it only for that time duration. So there are 24 hours in a day, and if a person dedicates 40 minutes or 30 minutes or 60 minutes for these rituals, but for the next 23 hours, okay, so 23 means, let's suppose for 7 hours a person is sleeping. So it could be like, 17, 18, or 16 hours the person is awake. For that duration, are they taking care of their thought process? Are they aware how they are behaving? Are they aware if something is bothering them? Are they aware that how much are they happy? How much are they getting dragged into the negativity? If they are not taking care of it for the next 16 to 17 hours when they are awake, then there is no point of um, doing the activities only in the morning as a ritual. So it just becomes a ritual. Okay, it's only for the sake of doing. It is very important to ensure it's basically not the time you invest in doing these rituals, it's the quality. So you might be spending 60 minutes in a day in the morning, but you can feel miserable throughout the day, or you can be back to your old patterns throughout the day. Again, getting angry, getting triggered, feeling sad, getting impacted by other people's behavior, taking all overwhelm, all burden of life on yourself, and you could be doing it for the next 16, 17 hours. But even if you just take out 20 minutes to take care of your rituals and you do it very diligently, like you just immerse yourself into it, and you also remember to put that same energy for the next 16 hours. So anything that happens in your external environment, you really can't control it. But if you take care that, okay, now this is happening, this is where my power lies. In the morning, I did this ritual. It's time to apply it right now at 1 p.m., at 2 p.m. at work, at 3 p.m. Okay, you have to apply it in the next hours in your day. And that's when you can bring truly a good transformation in your life. If you only dedicate it, that okay, at this time I do, and rest of the times you're following the same old pattern of your life, you will not bring that change. So it's very important to then create that harmony. Balance we cannot create, Namrata. There's nothing called balance, that I balance my work life, I balance my personal life, and I balance my well-being. You have to harmonize it. If you cannot do it, like suppose for the 7 days you were very happy, you took out time in the morning and you dedicatedly worked on yourself for 60 minutes, and for the next week guests can arrive at your house and they are saying, we will not stay in the hotel, we will stay at your house. So now you have to take care of them. There's some extra work that you have gotten. So you can't be sulking and saying that, oh, now because they have come for the next 7 days, I can't dedicate time to my well-being, to my healing. So I'm not finding time. And for the next 7 days, when you don't find time, then your habit, you get out of this habit. And then it's very difficult for you to get back. So don't get fixated that at this time only I have to do it. If you can't do it in the morning, then create some time. I'm sure that, where there is a will, there is a way. Create some time, anytime, at any other time in the day. And it's not about the time, it's not about the quantity, it's about the quality.
I really loved this response, and it gave me a lot of confidence saying that it's manageable. We just have to find ways to harmonize different elements or different aspects of our life. Taking this forward, Tanya, I would like to know from you what's the role of kindness in our emotional well-being?
Okay. Wow. Role of kindness in emotional well-being. I would like to explain it with the help of an example. Let's suppose this one person goes through a tough breakup in their life, and it's been 2 years. Now they are over it, they have worked on their healing. But again and again, something keeps coming back from the past, which pulls them down, which makes them doubt their capability. And this could be at the work front also, because this person was traumatized because of the breakup and they felt very hurt that the other person just ghosted and left them. So now this person took a lot of time to come out of it, but even at work, they could face certain situations where it might be difficult for them to project their confident self. They might be looking confident from outside, but internally they could be feeling that they are not confident. They don't have that strength inside. Okay. And so now what they notice is that they have actually gone above, like they were at this level, and when they heal themselves, they went here. But again, those patterns can come where they can fall back again. And when they fall back again, people usually start doubting that nothing in the last 2 years that I did worked for me. So I'm back to square one again. But you have to understand, you're not back to square one. Nothing goes waste. It's just a phase of life where you are again feeling down and you feel that loss of strength and loss of confidence in you. But you just have to be kind at this point. So the mistake that people do is when they fall back again, they start questioning the work that they did. They start questioning the efforts that they put in their healing, and they start judging themselves. What judgment? That अभी तक तो ठीक हो जाना चाहिए था, कुछ तो work करता नहीं मेरे लिए, and nothing really works. So ये सब, these things don't work. It is just a waste of time. So, and then they again go back into that shelf and into that shell and negativity. But the point is, if they approach this downfall with compassion and kindness for themselves, not for anyone else, but for themselves, then it's very easy for them to come out of this downfall and again rise back. So if they view themselves with judgment, it's difficult. Then they can stay here for a long time. But the moment they fall down, they have to bring this feeling inside them of being kind to them and just telling themselves that it is just a phase. It is not the entire life. And with kindness, if they approach their emotional healing, again, they will be able to bounce back.
Amazing. Then how would you distinguish kindness from setting boundary?
Okay. Okay. Wow. Beautiful question. So kindness is a value system that you want to practice because it brings you joy. Okay, that's just my understanding, not that it's a set definition. Like I consider kindness as an important value system in my life. The day I am not kind, or I find that somebody else is not kind, I don't resonate really well with that. Now, that doesn't mean that I get triggered now, because I'm so self-aware. So I know people are different ways, and I don't have to get bothered by it. But I ensure that I am being kind in the best possible way. I don't have to, intentionally hurt anyone. So unintentionally it might happen, but intentionally I don't do it. So I feel kindness is a value system which you do because it gives you joy, because you have that compassion for the other person. But when you are being overly compassionate, where you don't think of your needs and you're only thinking of other people's needs, then that's where the setting boundaries have to come into picture. Let me share an example, two, three examples, whichever will come in my mind. Um, One thing could be, I have a very good friend, and she asked for some money from me. And I know that she needs money. She can't really be asking it from her parents because of some personal reasons. So she tells me that, you please give me, after 2 months, I'm going to return to you. And it's a reasonable amount. Let's suppose she asked me for 10,000 or 20,000 or 50,000. And I feel that, okay, I can give this amount to her because she's going to return me after 2, 3 months, and that's fine. I can let go of it. Right. So that means I'm demonstrating kindness because I understand what she's going through, and she definitely needs my help. But if I see that pattern repeating, okay, once or twice or thrice or 4 times, and I see that she has not returned the previous money to me, and she's asking for it again and again. Now, she might be genuinely asking it. She genuinely might have that problem in life. But I have to ask myself that if giving her more money does not make me resentful, okay, I have to assume in mind that I haven't gotten my previous money back, and I might not get it the fifth time also. If I don't get it the fifth time I lend it to her, will it make me resentful? If it is going to make me resentful, then I must draw a boundary here, and I must tell her very clearly that I'm sorry, but this time I can't really do it. I don't have the bandwidth to give it to you. Uh, but let me tell you how I can help you. Would you like to take a loan from bank? Would you like to speak to someone who is close to you? You would want to take their help, right? So setting boundaries means you don't let other person take you for granted. You put your needs also into picture, and you understand their needs, and you place a boundary over it. So, like how in our houses we have the walls built, or we have the main gate. Why? So that nobody enters the house just like that. So there is a boundary that we have kept. Similarly, we have to communicate our boundaries to other people, but sometimes under this pretext of being a very kind person, we overgive, and we give so much that we feel resentful from inside because our energy is drained, and we feel that I am just the overgiver, but I'm never the receiver. So anytime the feeling of resentful comes into picture, it's an indication that you have to start setting boundaries. And I'll also give one more example to really explain this well. So the work that I'm into, it's about helping people become confident and emotionally strong and handle the difficulties in their life. There are times that, people, they tell me that they don't have uh, the capacity to pay for the sessions. And sometimes when I'm in the session, I really understand that it is true. They are going through that difficulty where they are in so much pain right now, and they don't have that money. They don't have that money to afford it. So out of kindness, whatever I can do in my capacity, I do, to give them the session without asking for any money, energy exchange. But if I see that, once, twice, thrice I have given it, but fourth time, maybe I feel that, I am giving so much of my time, and the other person is not taking my advice seriously. They are not working on themselves. I'm giving them the free sessions, and they are not even implementing any advice in their life, and they are not transforming their life. So the fourth time, I will not take the session for them, because in that way, I will feel that my energy is getting, I am only giving, and they are not reciprocating and respecting that time which I am giving to them. So then I will have to set boundary, and I will have to tell them that if future they might need my help, then they will have to pay some energy exchange, because that's how the balance becomes for the investment of the time and efforts from my end. So this is what we have to look in our personal relationships also. Sometimes in personal relationships, we don't want to make the other person feel bad. And we feel that if we say no, then they will say, oh, you're so selfish. You're saying no, you can't really help me. But you have to ask yourself that, is this a priority for me? Is this emotionally and mentally draining for me, and it will not bring me any result? If it is draining for you and it's not a priority for you, you're not going to gain anything out of it. And it's not about being self-centered, it's about really taking care of your needs. Then you are absolutely allowed to say no to that request. So set boundaries and say no. You can be kind while setting boundaries.
Amazing, Tanya. Amazing response. I really love this. Last one question that I have for you is, there are few people who feel that the world is always doing them some or the other thing wrong. They are not being understood, and all bad things keeps on happening in their life. So what advice would you give to this segment of people who feels the life is extremely unfair to them?
Yes, Namrata. Beautiful question again. Um, there are two ways to understand this. The first is, if you feel that other people do you wrong or life is being extremely unfair to you, then you have to understand that other people are just the medium, and they are only showing you the mirror. So the world shows you the mirror for the triggers that are already existing inside you. Just because you meet good people who are at your frequency, at your vibration, you feel all happy, you feel all calm and composed. But not everybody can be that way. And some people can come and make your life difficult. They can trigger you. You have to understand that they are just a medium to show you the mirror. So it's not that if you're getting impacted by other people, then they are doing it. Yes, their behavior can definitely be rectified. They can be more kind, they can be more compassionate, they can be more understanding, but they are not. So that means there is something inside you which is getting triggered, and that something was already existing. It's not that because of them you have started feeling, it was already existing, that trigger, but that trigger was hidden. Now somebody had to come in this world to show you the mirror. So the world is just a mirror of what's already existing inside us, right? And so you, in that case, in order to positively deal with this situation, thank these people. These are the disguised angels who come in your life, who show you what inside you needs to be healed and what more you have to do to become stronger in life. So you can just indirectly thank them. You don't have to go to them and say thank you, but inside your mind, energetically, you can thank them because they are helping you heal yourself and to become more stronger. And they are showing you that there's something inside you that allows you to give your power to other people. So they are helping you to regain that power back. Now you will say how they are helping me, because they are putting me in a lot of pain, and then I am, taking out time and investing in myself. But yeah, that can look like it's been very unfair and unjust to you. But imagine if you wholeheartedly work on yourself and you make yourself stronger, that means you are being prepared for more difficulties in life. So later you will not get triggered, you will not get impacted. So कभी ना कभी तो ये अपना होमवर्क करना ही है ना सबको. तो लाइफ में जल्दी कर लो या बाद में, कोई भी आपको अगर ये होमवर्क करवा रहा है तो आई थिंक जस्ट बी ग्रेटफुल. In the sense, it's very difficult to say that okay, I'll be grateful for it, but yeah, at the end, see how you can just thank them for helping you to become more stronger from inside. Then the second thing, Namrata, I would like to say here is in terms of spirituality. Okay, anything that we do is a result of our past karmas, right? So it seems like this person is doing wrong to me. It is because of this that they have done. That is why I'm suffering. But the point is, we all have, a karmic balances with each other. And anything, if you have done something wrong to them, it will come back to you. Maybe not right now, maybe not after 10 years, but maybe after 20 years, maybe in another lifetime. And then when it comes in another lifetime to you, you will feel like, how is it possible? Like, I have not done anything wrong to them, but they are doing so much wrong to me. Right? So you have to understand that um, energy, whatever energy you send out in the universe to other people, it's gonna come back to you. Like if you have a ball, you throw it on the wall in front of you, it is going to bounce back and come back. अभी नहीं आएगी तो कभी बाद में आएगी, immediately जरूरी नहीं आए. So you have to understand that if you're facing a lot of challenges, then that could be because of your past karmas, where you have to balance that account, and you have to uh, get the fruits of that. And but what you can do here is to pacify yourself. You can focus on your current karmas. ओके सो अगर आप अपने करंट एक्शंस पे, करंट थॉट्स पे, करंट इंटेंशंस पे, जो आपका इंटेंशन होता है कुछ एक्शन करने का, उस पे अगर आप फोकस करते हो, दैट मीन्स यू आर ऑलरेडी क्रिएटिंग अ ब्यूटिफुल फ्यूचर फॉर योरसेल्फ. क्योंकि आपका फ्यूचर जो है वो फ्यूचर नहीं है, वो बेसिकली क्या है, आप वो आपके पास्ट का बेसिकली फ्यूचर है. सो इफ आई एम स्पीकिंग टू यू राइट नाउ, दिस इज माई प्रेजेंट. सो व्हाट इज दिस प्रेजेंट? दिस प्रेजेंट इज द पास्ट फ्यूचर. वो पास्ट का फ्यूचर है. तो जो भी आज प्रेजेंट है वो पास्ट के एक्शंस का ही रिजल्ट है. सो हम क्या कर सकते हैं, अपने करंट के एक्शंस पे फोकस कर सकते हैं. अगर इफ यू आर फीलिंग दैट people are doing unjust to you and it's draining your energy, then just see how you can improve your actions. अगर आप अपने एक्शंस ठीक रखते हो, आप अपने इंटेंशन ठीक रखते हो, आप अपने थॉट प्रोसेस को ठीक रखते हो, और आप किसी को हार्म नहीं कर रहे, चाहे वो आपको हार्म कर रहे हैं, तो just know that there is some divine power, and we can't deny it. Universe में कुछ तो ऐसा है that we all are born and we don't even know how, this life and death is not in our hands. We don't know when we will come to this life and when we will die. So there is some divine power which is more than us, which is stronger than us. So it is taking care of all that. So if you can have faith that your good actions will never go waste, your good thoughts will never go waste, and your good intentions will never go waste, then it will give you the strength to not really blame other people, but to say that I am in charge of my life and I will do the best that I can do to be in harmony with other people. If other people don't do it, they will get the result of it as per what they deserve. Who am I to decide what do they deserve, right? So this is one thing. These are the two aspects. So the first aspect that I talked about is the second aspect which I talked about is the spiritual, the karmic aspect. And the first one is that people show you the mirror of who you are, right? And there is one third aspect to it which also I believe, and it is that other people are the medium to show you who you are, to show you what your triggers are, to show you what your weaknesses are. But you are also subconsciously participating in attracting all of these. Okay, now this might sound a little contradictory, that how am I participating in attracting all of this? So the point is, if you are not creating something in your life, like suppose other person is creating a mess in your life, you are not creating it, but you could be participating in it, and that's why that problem is lingering on in your life. So how could you be participating? Maybe by not speaking up for yourself, maybe by giving too much attention to them, maybe by not protecting your aura, maybe by not setting boundaries. So there is something that you could do which could let you not get impacted by them. But because you are getting impacted is an indication that you are also participating in it. So you have to understand that you might not be creating it always. Another person could be creating it, but you have to participate in it. So if suppose my neighbor comes and throws the dustbin outside my house, right? And I saw it one day and I'm like, why are they doing it? Like, don't they have manners? They are throwing it like this in front of my house. And then I don't speak it up. Okay. And then I see that happening very often. And I say, ki, theek hai, neighbors hai, chalta hai. I will not say anything to them. Maybe tomorrow they will not throw, and just for once they are throwing it. And then what happens? I go somewhere else and something is happening and I don't speak up there. Okay. And then I feel bad that why didn't I speak up? Because I just couldn't speak up there. And then I go to a third place, I see something else happening and I feel itna injustice hota hai sabke saath. And I am not speaking up for my friend where I could just support her, because I feel that, okay, the consequences of speaking up for my friend could be little, it could bring like clashes and conflict. So I don't speak up. So what's happening here? It is my behavior of not speaking up, which is contributing to all this, which is happening around. Okay, so if I change my pattern, if I change my behavior and I start speaking up, then that means I'm not contributing to all of that drama in my life. I might not be the creator of that drama, but how I was contributing to it by not speaking up. So we all have to identify what all things are inside us, which of how we are contributing to that situation by just participating in it. And the day you realize that you don't have to participate, you have the power to come out of it, is the day you actually feel like a winner. And then you feel that, yeah, complaining to the world and blaming the world is just a waste of time. You draw all your energy from inside, and that, I'm not going to complain, I'm not going to blame anyone. That's a waste of time, that's a waste of energy. तो जब आप खुद से कनेक्ट हो जाते हो ना बहुत ज्यादा, तो आप दूसरों को आप अब ब्लेम नहीं करते कि मेरे साथ दूसरे लोग ऐसा कर रहे हैं. सो अगर आप कभी भी ये सोचते हो कि मेरे साथ अनजस्टिस हो रहा है, मेरे साथ बहुत अनफेयर थिंग्स हो रही हैं, always this is an indication that you don't have a strong relationship with yourself. अगर आपका खुद के साथ strong relationship होगा, and with any higher power, with any sort of higher power, if you have a strong relationship with them, you have ultimate faith in them, तो आप सारी एनर्जी, जो आपकी ऊर्जा है, वो आप अंदर से डिराइव करोगे, फिर आप दूसरों से डिराइव नहीं करोगे. तो आपका खुद ब खुद वो पैटर्न छूट जाएगा ऑफ ब्लेमिंग द वर्ल्ड. So yeah, this is the entire thing which I wanted to share.
I loved this conversation, Tanya. Even though the damage was done, now with healing insights and bringing right mindset in place, taking control of our life, bringing in healthy patterns in our day-to-day behavior, setting intentions is what is going to make our life more beautiful. So we have to focus on present, because even though that's future of past, but we have another future in front of us. That is what we want to make it a beautiful day. Thank you so much, Tanya. Thank you for sharing your views. I loved, oh my God, I loved them, each and everything, and your examples were super amazing.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Namrata. It's my pleasure to be here on your show. And thank you for asking such beautiful questions. And thank you.